What if the planets were watching us? What if they could speak? And more importantly, what would they ask? Join us as we unravel Ogayway's extraordinary encounter during the rare planetary alignment. Each celestial body questioned him, forcing him to confront the truths that shape our lives. What do you burn for? What do your words reveal? What do you love? Are you ready to reap what you have sown? As Ayak, the storyteller, challenges Ogayway on the nature of myths, we uncover the deeper truth. Stories are not just for entertainment. They are the backbone of civilization. They shape identities, guide societies, and determine the future of those who remember them. Is Ogayway's story just a myth, or does it hold the key to something greater? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about stories, fate, and the cosmic forces that influence us all. Now let's listen to the story. The villagers gathered under the ancient baobab, their faces lit by the glow of the fire. The air smelled of roasted nuts and earth, and above them, the sky stretched vast and open, its darkness jeweled with stars. Tonight, the fire was not just for warmth, it was for listening. Ogayway sat at the center, his eyes reflecting both wisdom and mischief. He had returned from his journey to the mountains, where he had disappeared without a word, leaving the village murmuring in confusion and curiosity. And now, he was ready to tell them why. The story of the planetary alignment. Ogayway stretched his arms wide, as if to embrace the sky. I stood atop the mountain as the 6 planets aligned, each a voice in the great cosmic council. They did not speak as we do, but they questioned me. Oh, how they questioned me. I was no longer Ogayway of the village. I was but a soul laid bare before them. The villagers leaned in closer. Even Ayak, ever skeptical, found herself drawn in. The sun demanded, "What do you burn for?" Ogayway's voice deepened, mimicking the authority of the great star. It showed me that no being can truly live without a fire, whether it be passion, duty, or purpose. Without it, we are merely drifting embers, fading into nothing. He turned his gaze to the sky. Mercury, the swift messenger, whispered, "What do you truly say when you speak? Do your words reveal or conceal?" He chuckled. "Ah, I tell you, Mercury sees through all clever tongues." It reminded me that words are spells, shaping the world whether we intend it or not. His voice softened. Venus, radiant and knowing, asked, "What do you love, and what do you offer in return?" It showed me that love is not merely what we take, but what we give. That beauty without depth is as fleeting as morning dew. The fire crackled, and Ogayway's face grew serious. Mars roared, "Do you fight for something, or do you fight against everything?" He shook his head. Mars does not care for wasted energy. It asks whether our struggles forge us or consume us. He gestured toward the sky, where Jupiter hung like a watchful elder. Jupiter, the great teacher, asked, "What wisdom do you seek, and do you dare to live by it? It is one thing to learn, another to embody." Then, his voice dropped to a near whisper, and Saturn, old stern Saturn, simply asked, "Are you prepared to reap what you have sown?" A hush fell over the listeners. The weight of the question settled into their bones. Ogayway leaned back, stretching his legs before the fire. And so I returned. Not with answers, but with deeper questions. And now I ask you, Ayak. Ayak, who had been silent all this while, finally crossed her arms and tilted her head. "What do you want to know, Ogayway?" Ogayway grinned. "Tell me, what do you make of my story? Is it a myth?" She exhaled, thoughtful. "Why does it matter to you?" Ogayway tapped his chin. "Because if it is a myth, then it has a purpose beyond me. If it is a truth, then it shapes the village in ways even I do not yet see. And if it is nonsense, then I must know why even the skeptical listen with such wide eyes." Ayak smirked. "A story is never just a story, Ogayway. And myths? Myths are the bones of a people." Ogayway raised a brow. "Then tell me, what purpose does mine serve?" Ayak looked at the watching villagers, from the wide-eyed children to the elders who had seen many seasons. Myths do not exist just to entertain, she began. They explain, they remind, they warn. Your story, of speaking with the planets, of hearing their questions. What do you think it does to the people? Ogayway smiled. You tell me. Ayak did not hesitate. It makes them wonder. It forces them to ask themselves those same questions. What do I burn for? What do I reflect? Those who listen may not admit it, but your story lingers in their minds long after they leave the fire. It changes them, even if just a little. Ogayway nodded slowly. And why is it important to have such myths? Ayak gestured to the night sky. Without stories, people forget. They forget who they are, where they came from, what they should strive toward. Myths remind us that we are not just bodies walking the earth. We are minds, we are spirits, we are possibilities. Ogayway chuckled. Possibilities, you say? Ayak smirked. Do not act as if you do not know, Ogayway. You, of all people, weave myths into the very way you live. The children follow you not because they understand, but because they feel something stirring when you speak. Ogayway's expression turned thoughtful. And when is it best to tell such stories? Ayak lifted a brow. When the ears are open, when the heart is restless, when the mind seeks but does not know what it is looking for. Ogayway chuckled. Ah, so all the time then? Ayak nodded. Stories are seeds. The young take them in without resistance and the old hear them with the weight of experience. A child will take your story and dream of speaking to the planets themselves. An elder will hear it and wonder what they have spent their life reflecting. Both are changed. Ogayway was silent for a moment. Then, he asked the question that made Ayak pause. And what of the future? What role does myth play in shaping a people's fate? Ayak's face grew serious. A people without stories are like a river that has forgotten its path. They will wander. They will lose themselves. But a people who remember their myths, they know who they are. And if they know that, they can shape their own future. The fire crackled between them, their words lingering in the air like unspoken spells. Then, just as the night seemed to settle, Ogayway grinned and leaned closer. Tell me, Ayak, when will you have your own planetary alignment moment? Ayak rolled her eyes. You truly cannot help yourself, can you? Ogayway laughed. I only ask because the moon is listening. Ayak sighed, but deep inside, a question burned. Would she ever stand where he had stood? Would she ever hear the planets speak? And if they did, what would they ask her? So, as these words settle within you, know that they are more than just stories. They are doorways. Doorways to understanding, to remembrance, to awakening. You are not here by accident. You have been called to listen, to reflect, and to rise. But this is only the beginning. The journey ahead is vast, filled with mysteries yet to unfold. With each story, a new key is placed in your hands, unlocking the depths of your being. Will you dare to step forward? Prepare yourself, for the next chapter will take you deeper, beyond what is seen, beyond what is known, into the realm where truth awaits those who seek it. If you like the content and are inspired to hear more, don't forget to like and share. Till next time, stay blessed.